So what does it mean to be sensitive to individuals and bias-free in text? It's important to realize there are multiple ways that bias can be inserted into your manuscript. For example, there's something we call person-first language, where we discuss the person before we are concerned with any characteristics that they may have. This is especially important in studies where you have different participants where you're separating them based on disabilities or other characteristics. So if somebody has a disability, you actually say a person with a disability as opposed to a disabled person. Or if you're discussing people that don't have homes, you use unhoused persons as opposed to the homeless. This is sensitive to the individuals and adds dignity to their situation. Another place where bias can be inserted into the text is when you're discussing sex and gender. A lot of people think that sex and gender are the same thing. They are not. Sex is a biological attribute, whereas gender is a social construct and is often fluid. When separating study participants, be sure to say whether you're using sex or gender and to discuss your rationale. Furthermore, it is imperative that you never assume the gender of a person. If it is unknown, use the third person plural they as opposed to he or she. It is also important to make no assumptions on the belief or superiority of a certain group of people. This adds unnecessary bias and can skew your results. Furthermore, exclusionary and offensive language should also be avoided. This is not just in studies where you have participants. If you are using coding, words like master and slave are very common in certain situations. These should be avoided, and words like secondary and primary should be used instead. Many journals have their own guidelines to discuss inclusionary and unbiased language. Therefore, you should always be sure to look over these before submission to avoid any issues in your manuscript.